The West is losing its collective marbles. They are going mentally ill. I'm going to explain, well, I'll show you some examples, and I think I have an explanation for why this is. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Chris Martenson at Peak Prosperity. We are going to turn now to this idea here of what really appears more and more to be obvious mental illness, at least to me, and that's a proper diagnosis. Here we see End Wokeness tweeting out that SB 1414, a California bill, is a proposal to make it a felony to purchase children for sex. Okay, that's a slam dunk. Yeah, it wasn't already a felony to purchase children for sex? Apparently not. So SB 1414 is going to make it a felony to purchase children for sex. Slam dunk, case closed. Whoa, not so fast. What's this? Woke activist groups oppose this bill by complaining that it will harm the LGBTQ community and people of color? That can't be right. Hold on. Let's listen in.
That SB 1414 takes an overly punitive approach that fails to address the root causes of these issues and will not effectively stop sexual violence. We are particularly concerned that the harsher penalties proposed in this bill will disproportionately impact marginalized communities, especially members of the LGBTQ community.
What? Why would this disproportionately, if it disproportionately impacts your community and the bill is about making it a felony to purchase children for sex, the problem isn't the bill and how it's constructed. I'm going to gently suggest the problem is in your community. Isn't this just obvious?
Who already suffer from systematic biases within the criminal justice system, particularly when it comes to sexually based offenses. Studies have shown that LGBTQ people, particularly gay and transgendered individuals, are more likely to be charged with sex offenses compared to their heterosexual.
Again, charged with sex offenses, but this is about children. So if they are more likely to be charged with sex offenses against children, and that's disproportionate, then that's okay. That's okay that they are, if they are disproportionately committing crimes, then they are not disproportionately charged with anything, right? If that's the, what are you even saying? How do you begin to make sense of this? What is even going on?
Counterparts. For instance, LGBTQ individuals are 9 times more likely to be charged with sodomy. Measures like SB 1414 lead to higher rates of incarceration, longer sentences, and increased difficulties in finding housing and employment.
Today, EBC must strongly oppose Senate Bill 1414 for the reasons I will state. We stand against any punitive measure that perpetuates systemic injustices, and we emphasize instead the need for community-based solutions. We strongly support investments in victim services and...
Hear me out. If you didn't create the victims, we wouldn't need to invest more in victim services? Just, what is even happening here? It goes on, it gets worse from here. It's just this bad all the way through. There are people out there legitimately arguing in some twisted sense that that the problem here is that this law is going to unfairly target people of their community. So we've seen this happening for a long time, which is this normalization or this push to normalize what just a very few years ago would have been clearly immoral, decadent, unacceptable behaviors, right? And this is in California. Let me go on to this. This is just crazy. So down here at a so-called family-friendly trans pride parade that kicked off in Toronto, Ontario, okay? There was one area, there's a kiosk. See that kiosk right there? And you see that little sign right there? This is talking about, hey, they're advertising right there on a drop down that there's a nudist swimming pool you can go to, a nudist swimming club. And it offers, when you go to this, it offers, like here they're clearly saying this is nudist and we want to have whole families here. This is good for everybody, but it's not just, maybe you could say, okay, being nude and free it makes sense. But it doesn't just do that, of course, because when you go into their website, it says, hey, youth membership is free. You know, they like them younger, obviously. Hey, I'm 18 years old or younger. I'm 18 or younger. Can I attend? How much would I pay? Oh, you pay nothing. You come on in. You are free if you're under 18. If you are under the age of 14, you got to be accompanied by an adult. But if you fall between the age of 14 and 18, you're welcome. You're free. No guardian necessary, because that's the age range that they clearly like them. I mean, that's what you do. And you show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. They're clearly incentivizing that they want unaccompanied 14 to 18-year-olds to come swim with them in their nude pool, right? Again, how did this get normalized? How did it get to the point where this is just openly on a street? And by the way, if you continue to watch this particular video here, you'll see that there are, fully naked people walking around, and this is supposed to be family friendly. And again, this whole idea that you would openly advertise for minors, for 14 to 18-year-olds, to come to your swimming pool, which is naked for free. Yeah, that's just not how any of this was supposed to be, right? So this has been changing very rapidly. What did that woman's sign say at the end? I love my... Wow. Yeah, just put it right out there. So this used to be considered decadent behavior. So how do you how do we begin to organize this? I mean, this is happening all over the place now. We're seeing it in Canada, in the United States, certain parts of Germany, Europe. I mean, it's just, what is this? How did this happen? Well, there's two ways. It could have happened organically. This is just cultures shift their mores over time, right? Or hear me out here. This was not organic. This is actually a promoted behavior. And it would be promoted because in our framework at Peak Prosperity, given to us by Dave Fairtex, our incredible writer on all things economic and, well, what's going on in the news, his easy hard framework just says, look, when something that the system doesn't want, the system, we'll call that the government, the corporation, merger, fascist state, the people who just want to sell you things so they like you sick, disabled, distracted, whatever, whatever the deep state sort of want, whatever the system wants, right? It's easy. That stuff is easy. And stuff the system doesn't want is hard, right? So that easy, hard framework helps us understand things. So if I wanted to organize a whites-only Christian church event, we would say that would probably be very hard, right? I don't think you could get a permit for that. And if you did, the media would be all over you talking about how terrible you are and branding you with all kinds of negative things. Like that would be obviously very hard. But if you want to organize a family-friendly gay event where you're openly advertising for minors for sexual reasons, and that would be easy, right? You get lots of permits for that. Nobody's going to say anything. You have to count on like activist citizen journalists to record this and put it on Twitter so you can even see that it's happening. It's really, probably didn't make your news, right? Like, wow, this is bizarre. That's not happening. So that's easy because the system wants more of that. Now, why does the system want more of this but less of this? Why would they want people over here in this very confusing, very new area? Now, when cultures have a way of doing something, sometimes cultures have been doing things for thousands of years, right? To suddenly upend that, right? To suddenly say, can you imagine if all of a sudden it just got promoted that Christmas is now going to be held on June 3rd, right? That's its new date, right? And the year after that, it's going to be held on October 14th. It's now a walkabout date. It just happens whenever now, right? Obviously, that would be upending a lot of cultural traditions, and that would be considered jarring to many people, right? Jarring to the sense of family, of the continuity. Well, that's the point sometimes. The point sometimes is specifically to jar things and to wear down that sense of appropriateness, because then you can actually change things in the way you want them to be changed. The point may not necessarily to have naked minors swimming in a pool with dudes, right? But the point is actually to shake things up so that the culture no longer has the glue. It no longer holds itself together, so it's thin and it can fall apart more easily. And I think that brings us to this idea. If you Google something like this. I just Googled cognitive warfare NATO because I know all the stuff that NATO's been very interested in cognitive warfare. Why NATO? Because NATO is an assemblage of Western countries. Western civilization is currently under assault, right? You don't read about how Africa, had a real hard time with COVID because they didn't, right? You don't read about how Africa's struggling with LGBTQ plus whatever issues. You don't read about any of that stuff because Africa's not the target here. Western civilization is the target. It's been targeted for dismantling. That's a thesis I have, a hypothesis. I have a lot of data that supports that. I think you might agree with that as well if you've been paying attention at all, right? We have no borders anymore. Parents don't have rights. Private property doesn't mean what it used to mean. On and on and on. Things that are Western values have been under relentless assault for the past, 20, 30 years, but it's really picked up the pace the last few, including and culminating with things like that Toronto Pride Parade that we just saw, right? It's shocking. And it's meant to be shocking, right? Because that's the whole rats in a cage idea that if you get individual groups shocked, they will start fighting with each other because that prevents them from looking at where the true threats are actually coming from. So the whole idea is to get people fighting amongst and within and across each other, and you do that by providing these shocks and these prods. That's not an organic process. There are people who think this through, and when you investigate something like cognitive warfare by NATO, which is a collection of Western countries, right? That's the West. NATO is the West. You can find out that, boy, they have been busy boys and girls working on this for a really long time, and they have quite a lot to say about this. Here's a piece that was written about cognitive warfare. You can see up at the top here. This is from NATO. Francois Duclozel, writing out of Norfolk, Virginia in the United States. Cognitive warfare, a battle for the brain. This is just the level of sophistication going on here is quite high. So I'm just going to skim the surface very quickly, and then we'll come back to the idea, is what we're seeing out there, is this organic? Is this just like what is happening because culture wanted it? Or is somebody pushing our buttons here? You be the judge. So, quote, with the growing role of technology and information overload, the role of information overload, look at how that's worded. Information overload is a tactic. It can be a strategy as well. If you're information overloaded, you are unable to process things clearly. So information overload is the goal, right? That's why I do what I do. I'm an information scout. For whatever reason, I'm able to absorb vast amounts of information, distill it, and hand it back to people in a way where it's bite-sized and you can look at it, right? So it's not just the what I report, but I have a means of how I go about distilling it, right? The what is the information overload. It's the flood. How you put the pieces together and how you look at the layers, that's the artistry of doing what I do. Okay. Individual cognitive abilities will no longer be sufficient to ensure an informed and timely decision-making. This is really critical. So if with this information overload, think about this. Individual cognitive abilities will no longer be sufficient to ensure an informed and timely decision-making. They are targeting your ability to make decisions. Hey, should I take the great taking seriously and move my money away from, and wealth away from all of that disaster that's in the making? I don't know. Too late. What's happening in Ukraine? Oh no. What's happening in Toronto? It's just this information overload. What should you do? Right? What should your next steps be? How are you going to position your family and your wealth? And should you stay in the job you're in? The whole idea here is to overload and paralyze you. And they do this by shocking us over and over again, by making some things really easy, right? So what did we just find out? We just found out that in France, there was an election, right? And Marine Le Pen, they had to pull some shenanigans to make sure that somehow they could rig it up so that she had fewer seats at the back end of that. And that was just yesterday. And today, surprise, they've just, French prosecutors have decided that she needs to be investigated and charged with some kind of campaign finance fraud or something like that related to an election, I don't know, in 2022. So they're going to lawfare that and see if they can use and just rip a playbook out of the United States deep state against Donald Trump to see if they can use law to try and prevent a candidate they don't like from having a seat at the table. They'll use whatever means they have to in order to get that accomplished. Okay, so that's just how they roll. Again, that's a shocking thing for your Department of Justice to be going after your top leading candidates on a preferential basis. Now, hey, maybe some of these people commit crimes. I don't know. But watching the pattern, you can clearly see this is shocking, and it's designed to shock. It's as much to target Marine Le Pen or Donald Trump and take him out of the game as it is to shock you. And with that shock, the chance of you inappropriately fighting somebody at a bar or on the street or at your next Thanksgiving table goes up. But that is the point of all of this. It's to create this information overload, hamstring your ability to make timely decisions, which is going to be very painful for people given the economic crisis that's on the way. So this leads to this new concept of cognitive warfare, which has become a recurring theme or term in military terminology in recent years. Cognitive warfare causes an insidious challenge. It disrupts the ordinary understandings and reactions to events in a gradual and subtle way, but with significant harmful effects over time. Is this starting to sound familiar? Is this starting to feel at all like your life? Cognitive warfare has universal reach from the individual, that's you, to states and multinational organizations. It feeds on the techniques of disinformation and propaganda aimed at psychologically exhausting the receptors of information. That's the information overload. That's its job. Wear you down, exhaust you, and just keep slamming this stuff at you faster and faster so that you can't make appropriate decisions. Decisions like, should we allow these sorts of things to happen that seem to be happening all around me at this point in time? Hey, maybe I should agitate for having actual verifiable elections because it seems important. Maybe we should be worried about how much debt we have in our country. Oh, no. Does it make sense for us to be ripping oil out of the ground as fast as possible so we can export it to other nations? It's just like there's so many things going on right now. We're at the apex of this exponential set of exponential curves of things coming together. Things are going real fast. And there are people who are pushing on that on purpose. I'm not clear why. I don't really get what they're after here. I mean, I can see that they want to break the culture. I understand that they want to do that, but these people also, hey, if any of you cognitive warfare people are listening, and can you explain to me what you think you're actually doing? Because it looks to me like y'all are parasites in essence because you feed at the teat of society. Everybody else is out there doing productive things and they funnel up their taxes, and that gives you that cute little job over there in the cubicle where you get to do your cognitive warfare fun, right? But you don't produce anything, right? You're just busy influencing and having fun, and I'm sure it seems powerful and important, all that, but think this through. What you're doing is you're actively contributing to the erosion of the very culture that feeds you and pays your paycheck. This would be called killing the goose that laid the golden eggs, okay? Bad idea. Simple parable. Look it up. Children's book. Very easy to understand. Hey, I like these golden eggs. Maybe I shouldn't kill the goose. Well, guess what? All you cognitive warfare NATO types, you are busy killing the golden goose. You are destroying the productive fabric of the economy that pays your paycheck. This is not hard to understand. So I'm confused. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Now, this creates a form of mental illness that I think it's profound because we see, for instance, CNN unable to do anything other because it's so cognitively warped at this point in time. So it's been so machined by the state that they're unable to figure out that they're losing viewership and the whole business model is dying because nobody's interested in paying for their lies and their mistruths and their sins of omission and commission, right? You would think their own self-interest would kick in, and at some point they'd go, maybe I should not do, maybe we should change our product. Who's being successful? Oh, is that Joe Rogan? Is that Russell Brand? Is that Jimmy Dore? Is that, on and on, right? All the people who are actively out there telling the truth are gaining traction. You would think eventually something would kick in. We'd call that self-interest or the survival instinct, but it doesn't. So that's how profound and how dangerous these cognitive warfare tools are and have become. They are extraordinarily potent. And that potency has given us things like this, like just this alone, this one fragment to say if you dropped this particular parade 5 years ago into the news cycle, there would be all this shock. The question is, how did we get from there to here so quickly? And my submission to you is it's not organic. This is a plan. We're all under cognitive warfare at this point in time. I don't know why they're doing it, but they are. Now, for my subscribers back at Peak Prosperity, I'm going to continue this conversation because there's some really powerful implications about this we have to talk about. Very simply, the summary is they know not what they do. I'm positive that these people are going to wreck the system, and when they do, there's going to be really potent economic difficulties for all concerned, and let's hope it doesn't end in some sort of kinetic war, but some larger outbreak of hostilities against Russia and NATO, but we're headed that direction. So we got to talk about it and how we can get prepared with that. Thanks everybody else for listening. Let me know what you think about this. Looking forward to your comments as always. Bye for now.